Have you ever witnessed one of life's most profound heartbreaks? It's seeing a woman magnificent and powerful, yet completely unaware of the royalty coursing through her veins. She was born to rule a kingdom, her own life, yet she lingers at the gates, begging for scraps of love, whispering for validation and seeking permission to simply exist. If this resonates even a little, then listen closely. This isn't just another message, it's an awakening. It's time to stop asking and start acting, because you, yes you, are a queen. Prepare to uncover the crown you were always meant to wear. Let me share something with you, something that pierces the heart. One of the greatest, most profound tragedies in this life is to watch a woman who genuinely doesn't know who she truly is. Imagine this, a woman who carries the undeniable essence of royalty deep within her blood, in her very spirit, but who navigates the world like a beggar, anxiously, waiting for mere scraps of love, of respect, and of validation from others. Picture a woman who was undeniably born to rule, to command her own destiny, yet she stands hesitantly outside the majestic gates of her own kingdom, her own potential, timidly asking for permission to enter. No, no, no. This cannot be. You are a queen. And it is high time, right now, that you start acting like one. The core problem isn't that other people fail to see your immense value. The real, fundamental issue is that you don't fully see it, or perhaps you've forgotten it. And when you don't recognize your own inherent worth, you inadvertently and tragically allow people to handle you any kind of way they please. You permit them to speak to you with disrespect, in tones and words that should never be tolerated. You find yourself accepting treatment, enduring situations that you should have decisively walked away from the very moment they started. But because that deep foundational knowledge of who you are is missing or buried, you stay. You tolerate the intolerable. You excuse the inexcusable. You try to explain away the blatant disrespect, minimizing its impact. You might tell yourself, maybe I'm just overthinking things, or perhaps I'm asking for far too much, or even the heartbreaking lie, maybe this is all I truly deserve. No, Queen. Let me be unequivocally clear. You are not asking for too much. You are simply asking for what you were always, from the very beginning, meant to have. Genuine respect, unwavering honor, unconditional love, and inherent dignity. And if they, whoever they are, cannot or will not give it to you freely and consistently, then they simply do not deserve access to your magnificent presence. Do you have any idea what truly happens when a queen, a woman of innate worth, consciously or unconsciously lowers her standards? She unwittingly invites chaos, drama, and disrespect into her sacred kingdom, into her life. When you allow people to treat you as if you're common, as if your value is negligible, you begin to stop walking in the incredible power that God uniquely gave to you. You start to silence your own authentic voice, the one that speaks your truth. You begin to dim your radiant light, the light that is meant to shine brightly. You find yourself accepting dishonor, often pathetically disguised in the name of love. But let me tell you something absolutely crucial about real love. Genuine love does not and will never strip you of your dignity. True love does not make you feel small, insignificant, or invisible. Authentic love certainly does not require you to shrink yourself to become less than who you are, just so someone else can feel artificially big or important. If you find yourself having to beg for it, if you feel compelled to lower yourself to attain it, if you realize you're losing your very essence just to keep it, then it was never truly love to begin with. I need you to hear me clearly today. Let this sink deep into your spirit. You were not created to live a life beneath your inherent worth. The way you carry yourself, your posture, your energy, your self-assurance, it sends a powerful, undeniable message to the world about how to treat you. the way you speak about yourself, even in casual conversation, the way you allow others to handle your emotions, your time, your boundaries. It all sends a distinct message. And some of you, if we're being honest, have been sending out the wrong, damaging message for far too long. You have allowed past pain, old wounds to cruelly convince you that you're not worth more than what you've received. You have allowed past rejection to insidiously make you believe that you're simply not good enough, not deserving. You have allowed people who didn't even know how to properly love themselves, let alone you, to persuade you that something is fundamentally wrong with you. But today, right now, I am here to wake you up from that slumber of self-doubt. You are not what they unfairly called you. You are not defined by the mistakes you've inevitably made along your journey. You are absolutely not unworthy. You are decidedly not unlovable. You are certainly not too much for the right people. You are a queen, and from this very moment forward, you absolutely need to carry yourself as such in every thought, word, and action. Stop desperately chasing after people who clearly don't see your incredible value. Stop wasting precious tears crying over people who were never meant to stay in your life for the long haul. Stop passively waiting for someone else to finally give you permission to be the magnificent woman you already are. I want you to truly internalize this. You don't need their validation to feel whole. You don't need their fleeting approval to feel worthy. You certainly don't need their conditional acceptance to feel complete. Queens don't timidly ask to be treated right. They inherently expect it as their birthright. Queens don't beg for respect. They naturally command it through their self-assurance and dignity. Queens absolutely do not settle for anything less than what they truly deserve. They possess the wisdom and courage to walk away the moment they recognize it's not right for them. And I know some of you are deeply afraid to walk away because you harbor the fear that you'll end up alone. But let me tell you something profound and reassuring. The right people, the ones truly meant for your journey, will never require you to be less than who you are, to diminish your light just to be with them. The right people will honor you, cherish you, protect you fiercely, and respect you deeply. Not because you aggressively demand it, but because they instinctively recognize the royalty within you, the queen that you are. And if they don't, if they are blind to your crown, then let them go. A queen never, ever begs someone to see her crown. If they can't see it, they were simply never meant to sit at your royal table in the first place. Stop shedding tears over people who were never destined to hold a significant seat in the story of your life. Stop drastically lowering your standards out of a debilitating fear of being alone. It is infinitely better, more empowering, to walk alone in your dignity than to sit uncomfortably in a room full of people who clearly do not respect or value you. Let me ask you something important. When you walk into a room, what do people truly see? Do they perceive a woman who knows exactly who she is, confident and self-assured? Or do they see a woman who seems unsure, constantly apologizing for her very existence, timidly waiting for permission to simply take up space? Because let me tell you something right now with all conviction. A queen never shrinks herself to make others feel more comfortable. A queen walks with an undeniable confidence, speaks with a quiet yet firm authority, and carries herself as if she inherently belongs wherever she stands because she does. And if you are truly going to step into the magnificent woman God created you to be, you've absolutely got to stop acting like you're afraid to be seen, afraid to shine. The way you carry yourself is a direct outward reflection of what you truly believe about yourself deep down. Some of you have been walking around for far too long with your head held down, your shoulders slouched, your voice barely audible, often just above a whisper. This happens because somewhere along the life's challenging path, experiences or people wrongly taught you that you weren't enough, that you didn't measure up. Somewhere along the way, certain individuals made you feel as though your very presence was an inconvenience, a burden. So now as a result, you hesitate before you speak your mind. You constantly second-guess your own insightful opinions. You instinctively downplay your sharp intelligence. You might even laugh at jokes that aren't remotely funny just to feel like you fit in, to gain a semblance of acceptance. You often say yes when every fiber of your being wants to scream no. But listen to me very carefully. A queen does not apologize for being who she authentically is. You have already spent far too much precious time and energy making yourself smaller, diminishing your own light so that other people could feel artificially bigger or more important in your presence. You have been consistently silencing your own voice to avoid potential confrontation, holding your tongue when you absolutely should have spoken your truth with courage and clarity. You've been consciously dimming your own brilliant light so that others wouldn't feel threatened or intimidated by your radiance. But that is not who you were created to be. That is a distortion of your true essence. God did not meticulously place profound purpose inside of you only for you to keep it hidden away, locked in a dusty chest. He did not gift you with unique wisdom, incredible strength, and a clear vision for your life only for you to remain quiet, paralyzed by fear. You do not need anyone's permission to speak with power and conviction. You do not need external validation to carry yourself with unshakable confidence. You certainly do not need anyone's approval to walk with inherent authority. Stop walking through life as if you're lost and confused when you know, deep down, exactly who you are and where you're going. Stop relentlessly questioning yourself when God has already confirmed your worth and your calling. Stop passively waiting for someone else to finally tell you that you're good enough before you dare to believe it for yourself. You are not an afterthought in someone else's story. You are not an accident or a mistake. You are most certainly not somebody's convenient backup plan. You are a queen, through and through, and the way you move through this life, every step you take needs to vividly reflect that undeniable truth. Confidence, true confidence, is not about arrogance or looking down on other people. It's about deeply knowing who you are and steadfastly refusing to let anyone or any circumstance convince you otherwise. It's about carrying yourself with profound dignity, with innate grace, and with a level of self-respect that clearly communicates to the world, I know my worth and I will not compromise it. And that powerful confidence isn't just visible in the way you walk, it resonates deeply in the way you speak. Some of you have been whispering your truths when you should have been boldly declaring them. You have been unconsciously watering down your potent words, making them softer, more palatable, more acceptable to people who were never equipped or intended to understand the depth of your message anyway. But your voice, your unique perspective, was never meant to be hidden or suppressed. Your powerful words were never meant to be silenced. There is immense power in what you say. There is inherent authority in your voice. And when you speak, you need to speak as if you wholeheartedly believe every single word you're uttering. No more trailing off uncertainly at the end of your sentences, as if you're unsure of your own thoughts. No more constantly questioning your own insights, as if you don't trust your own inner wisdom. No more speaking in a way that subtly invites people to doubt you or your capabilities. If you are indeed a queen, then every word that gracefully leaves your mouth should clearly reflect that royal identity. Your voice should be strong yet compassionate, firm but not cruel, wise but never arrogant. And most importantly, your words must consistently and authentically match your actions. Because a true queen doesn't just talk the talk, she walks in the very same confidence that she speaks with. She doesn't just declare that she knows her worth, she moves through the world in a way that unequivocally demonstrates that she knows it deep in her bones. She doesn't just proclaim that she's strong, she shows it in the resilient and graceful way she carries herself through life's inevitable challenges. And I desperately need you to understand this fundamental principle. People will invariably treat you according to the standard you clearly and consistently set for yourself. If you walk into a room looking and feeling like you don't belong there, they will likely treat you like an outsider. If you speak as though your words don't truly matter, they will probably ignore what you have to say. But if you walk with the undeniable aura of worthiness, if you speak as if you have something genuinely valuable to contribute, if you carry yourself with the divine authority that God Himself placed inside of you, then people will have no other choice but to respect you. So, no more small, timid steps. No more hesitant, whispered voices. No more apologizing for your mere existence. From this very moment forward, you walk like the queen you are. You speak like the queen you are. Because the world will not fully recognize your innate royalty until you first recognize and embody it yourself. There inevitably comes a time in your life, a crucial turning point, when you have to stop letting just anybody and everybody have unrestricted access to your precious energy and your sacred space. You've got to decisively stop allowing people to casually walk in and out of your life as if it's some kind of public revolving door, with no regard for your feelings or well-being. You've got to stop indiscriminately handing over your vital energy to people who only drain you, who only ever take from you, but never, ever pour back into you or replenish your spirit. A queen, understand this, doesn't let just anyone sit at her esteemed table. She is selective about her company. Queen doesn't allow just anyone to speak negativity or doubt into her life. She guards her mind and heart. A queen certainly doesn't let just anyone get close enough to disrupt her hard-won inner peace. If you are truly going to walk in the fullness of the power and authority that resides deep inside of you, then you absolutely must learn how to fiercely protect your peace. Some of you have been carrying far too much unnecessary weight, burdens that were never meant to be yours to bear, problems that don't actually belong to you, and emotionally draining relationships that have been dead and lifeless for years. Yet you keep holding on, clinging tightly, primarily because you're afraid to let go, afraid of the unknown. You're letting people pull you in 1,000 different directions, scattering your focus and depleting your energy. And now you look around and wonder why you're so utterly exhausted, why you're so completely drained, why you feel so profoundly empty inside. It's because you've been carelessly giving your precious peace away to people who don't even value it, who wouldn't recognize its worth if it hit them. You've been inadvertently allowing chaos and turmoil into places within your life where God specifically intended for there to be serene stillness and tranquility. But here's a fundamental truth. You cannot possibly live a life of peace if you continuously keep entertaining things, people, or situations that actively disturb it. Some people, unfortunately, thrive on drama. It's like oxygen to them. Some individuals are only comfortable when surrounded by dysfunction. Peace feels foreign and unsettling to them. Some people will actively try to pull you into their messy situations, their unresolved issues, just so they don't have to sit in their own discomfort alone. And if you're not incredibly careful, if you're not vigilant, you will inevitably find yourself entangled in battles that were never meant to be yours to fight, waging wars that have absolutely nothing to do with your destiny, and desperately trying to fix people who don't even want to be fixed. That is not your assignment, Queen. You were not created to carry everybody else's heavy weight at the dire expense of your own precious well-being. You are not meant to be the designated dumping ground for everybody else's problems and emotional baggage. You are certainly not obligated to stay in toxic, soul-crushing relationships just because of shared history or a misguided sense of loyalty. Listen to me very carefully. Peace is not something that just magically happens to you. It's not a passive state. Peace is something you actively cultivate fiercely protect, and intentionally choose, day after day. You have to get incredibly intentional about guarding your sacred space, your valuable time, and your finite energy. You have to get absolutely serious about ruthlessly cutting off distractions, about consciously limiting access to people who don't pour positively back into your life, and about decisively removing yourself from anything and everything that costs you your precious peace of mind. And I know, I truly do, that this is not always easy. I know that some of you are terrified to set firm boundaries because you don't want to disappoint people. You don't want to seem rude or unkind, and you certainly don't want to come across as cold or uncaring. But let me tell you something unequivocally. Your peace is not up for negotiation. Protecting your peace does not mean you don't love people. It doesn't mean you don't care about them. It certainly doesn't mean you're being selfish. It simply means you profoundly understand that you cannot pour from an empty cup. Some of you are desperately trying to be everything to everyone, and in that exhaustive process, you're tragically losing yourself. You're stretching yourself so incredibly thin that you don't even recognize the reflection staring back at you in the mirror anymore. You consistently say yes to things you simply don't have the energy or capacity for. You willingly take on responsibilities that are not truly yours to bear. You valiantly try to hold everything together for everybody else, while inside, you are quietly, painfully falling apart. And then, you find yourself wondering why you feel so utterly depleted, why you feel so deeply frustrated, why you feel so profoundly unseen and unappreciated. But the real, critical question you need to ask yourself is this: when was the last time you genuinely poured into yourself? When was the last time you took even a brief moment to truly rest, to just breathe deeply, to focus on your own fundamental needs? When was the last time you intentionally prioritized your own peace above the demands and expectations of others? You cannot, and I repeat, cannot keep running on empty. You cannot keep chronically neglecting yourself and your own needs. You cannot keep endlessly sacrificing your own well-being for people who, if the roles were reversed, likely wouldn't do the same for you. It is time, no, it is past time, to take your peace back. It is time to stop profusely apologizing for putting yourself first when necessary. It is time to stop feeling the need to meticulously explain why you can't be available for everybody and everything all the time. It is time to stop feeling consumed by guilt for choosing you, for honoring your own needs and limits. Because when you truly, deeply understand your inherent worth, you will inevitably realize that not everyone deserves unrestricted access to your precious time, energy, and spirit. You will realize that your peace is far too valuable to be constantly disturbed by people who only bring chaos and negativity into your life. You will realize that your energy is too precious a resource to be recklessly wasted on meaningless drama and pointless conflicts. There is immense power in your strategic silence. There is profound strength in your cultivated stillness. There is undeniable power in knowing precisely when to walk away. From conversations that drain your spirit, from relationships that no longer serve your highest good, and from environments that no longer align with the incredible places God is taking you. And as you begin to actively and fiercely protect your peace, please don't expect everyone around you to understand or applaud your efforts. Some people will inevitably call you distant or aloof. Some people, blinded by their own needs, will label you selfish. Some people will undoubtedly be offended, precisely because they were previously benefiting from your lack of firm boundaries. But don't you dare, not for 1 second, feel guilty for choosing yourself, for prioritizing your well-being. A queen does not seek permission from others to protect her sacred peace. She does not feel compelled to explain why she is no longer available for foolishness or time-wasting drama. She certainly does not apologize for courageously walking away from people who were never meant to accompany her to the next level of her extraordinary journey. You don't need to engage in every battle that presents itself. You don't need to respond to every insult or provocation hurled your way. You absolutely don't need to prove anything to anyone who is committed to misunderstanding you. Some of the greatest, most significant victories in life are won in strategic silence. Some of the greatest, most challenging battles are fought and won by simply, wisely walking away. Some of the greatest, most profound peace you will ever experience will come when you finally, deeply realize that not everything and everyone deserves your precious attention or energy. From this moment forward, let peace be your unwavering standard. Let wisdom be your trusted guide. If someone cannot or will not recognize your inherent worth, that is unequivocally their loss, their limitation, not your burden to carry. Some of you have been bending over backward, contorting yourselves in unimaginable ways, for people who wouldn't even take a single, solitary step for you. You have been generously, perhaps foolishly, giving your heart to people who simply do not possess the capacity or the maturity to hold it with the care and respect it deserves. You have been utterly exhausting yourself, trying desperately to prove your value to someone who will likely never truly appreciate it, no matter what you do. But let me ask you this, honestly. If you have to constantly beg for someone's love, is it really genuine love at all? If you have to continually remind them to respect you, do they truly value you deep down? Love, true love, is not something you should ever have to force or coerce. Respect, genuine respect, is not something you should have to demand over and over and over again. When someone truly sees you, when someone authentically values you for who you are, they won't need to be constantly convinced or reminded to treat you right. It will be their natural inclination, their joy. Some of you have been tenaciously holding on to relationships that have been draining the very life out of you. You've been tirelessly fighting for people who stopped fighting for you a long time ago. You've been sadly settling for half-hearted love, for frustrating inconsistency, for the painful position of being merely an option instead of a clear, cherished priority. And the hard truth, if you're willing to face it, is that the only real reason you're still holding on so tightly is because you're terrified to be alone. You're afraid of the perceived silence, the emptiness. You're afraid of the inherent uncertainty that comes with change. You're afraid that if you bravely walk away, you may never find love again. But let me share a profound insight with you. True loneliness is not found in the state of being physically alone. True loneliness is found in being in the wrong company, surrounded by people who don't understand or appreciate you. Loneliness is found in vulnerably sharing your precious heart with someone who doesn't cherish it, who treats it carelessly. Loneliness is found in consistently giving your all to someone who only ever gives you half of themselves in return, if that. If you are indeed a queen, then you absolutely need to start setting the unwavering standard for how you are treated by everyone you interact with. You need to decisively stop accepting behavior that clearly goes against your inherent worth. You need to stop conveniently ignoring those glaring red flags, those warning signs, just because you desperately don't want to face the daunting prospect of starting over. You need to stop allowing your understandable fear of being alone to keep you miserably trapped in toxic cycles that are systematically breaking your spirit and dimming your light. Do you have any real comprehension of how incredibly powerful you truly are? Do you genuinely understand how immensely valuable you are, just as you are? Do you know deep in your soul that you were never, ever meant to live your life constantly, begging for the bare minimum, for mere crumbs of affection or respect? You were meant to be deeply cherished, to be profoundly honored, to be loved fully, completely, and unconditionally. Not just when it's convenient for someone else, but always. But here's the unvarnished truth you must embrace. You teach people how to treat you by what you consistently tolerate. If you keep accepting disrespect, it will undoubtedly continue and likely escalate. If you keep making excuses for someone's blatant inconsistency, it will never, ever change. If you keep settling for less than you deserve, you will unfortunately never receive more. It is not, and never has been, up to other people to miraculously recognize your worth if you don't first recognize and project it yourself. Some of you are afraid to walk away from unhealthy situations because you mistakenly think it means you're losing something or someone. But let me assure you, a queen never truly loses when she courageously chooses herself, her well-being, her peace. A queen never loses when she steadfastly refuses to settle for anything less than God's best for her. A queen never loses when she wisely walks away from people who were never meant to walk with her into her glorious destiny in the first place. Let me tell you something essential. If someone cannot clearly see your worth, then with grace and dignity, let them go. If someone consistently treats you like an afterthought, like you're not important, then lovingly but firmly let them go. If someone is perpetually inconsistent with you, sending mixed signals and causing confusion, then for your own sanity, let them go. You were not created to live your precious life in a constant, agonizing state of disappointment and unmet needs. You were not designed to keep endlessly giving chances to people who continue to clearly show you through their actions that they do not deserve your incredible heart or your valuable time. You have to stop romanticizing someone's potential and start courageously accepting the reality of who they are showing you they are right now. Stop telling yourself that if you just love them a little harder, a little more sacrificially, they'll magically change into the person you want them to be. Stop trying to convince yourself that if you're just patient enough, if you just wait a little longer, they'll finally start treating you right, with the respect and love you deserve. People do not fundamentally change unless they genuinely want to, for themselves. And it is absolutely not your job, your responsibility, or your burden to fix, heal, or complete anybody else. Your primary job is to fiercely protect your own heart, to diligently guard your precious peace, and to love yourself enough to decisively walk away from anything or anyone that does not align with the magnificent future God has meticulously planned for you. You are not merely an option to be chosen when convenient. You are not a backup plan to be activated when other things fall through. You are certainly not someone's temporary convenience. If someone cannot love you the way you inherently deserve to be loved, with consistency, respect, and wholeheartedness, then they simply do not deserve continued access to your incredible presence. You do not have to beg for the right kind of love. It should flow freely. You do not have to plead repeatedly for basic respect. It should be a given. You do not have to exhaust yourself trying to convince someone to see your undeniable value. Because when you truly, deeply know your worth, you will steadfastly refuse to settle for anything less than what you richly deserve. There comes a pivotal moment in your life, a defining juncture, when you have to stop deliberately dimming your own brilliant light just to make others around you feel more comfortable in their own shadows. You have to stop shrinking yourself, making yourself smaller, trying to fit into cramped places and restrictive molds that were never, ever meant to hold your expansive greatness. You have to stop consistently downplaying your incredible gifts and talents simply because the people around you can't handle the significant weight of your divine calling. A true queen does not make herself small for the sake of insecure people. A true queen does not carelessly lower her high standards just to be temporarily accepted by a crowd that doesn't truly value her. A true queen does not silence her powerful voice merely because others are intimidated or afraid of her inherent power and influence. You were not created to be ordinary or average. You were designed for extraordinary. You were not designed to just blend seamlessly into the background. You were made to stand out. You were not placed on this earth to live a life of quiet mediocrity, of unfulfilled potential. It is time, right now, for you to rise up courageously and walk confidently in the absolute fullness of who you were always created to be. Some of you, if you're honest with yourselves, have been passively sitting on your immense potential for far too long. You have been patiently, perhaps fearfully, waiting for someone else's permission to finally step into your own unique greatness. You have been anxiously waiting for someone else to validate your precious dreams, to confirm your sacred calling, to give you the elusive green light to actively pursue what God has already clearly and undeniably placed in your heart. But let me tell you something with all certainty. You don't need anyone else's permission to be great. That right is inherent. You don't need anyone else's fleeting approval to walk boldly in your God-given purpose. You absolutely don't need anyone else to co-sign on what God Himself has already unequivocally confirmed within your spirit. If you keep waiting for people to clap for you before you make a move, you'll likely be waiting forever. If you keep desperately looking for external validation to fuel your journey, you'll never truly move forward with authentic power. If you keep waiting for the mythical, perfect moment to arrive, you'll never even take that crucial first step. Some of you are so consumed with worry about what other people will think that you're allowing their often uninformed opinions to completely paralyze you, to keep you stuck. You're consciously holding back your brilliance because you don't want to make waves or disrupt the status quo. You're intentionally staying silent when you have something valuable to say because you don't want to offend anyone. You're constantly playing it safe, avoiding risks, because you're terrified of judgment, of criticism, of potential failure. But let me tell you something vital. No one who ever walked in true greatness did so without facing significant opposition. No one who ever fulfilled their profound purpose did so without encountering relentless resistance. No one who ever made a lasting, positive impact on this world did so without facing crippling doubt, harsh ridicule, or painful rejection at some point. If you're waiting for everyone to unanimously agree with you before you dare to step into your purpose, you'll never move an inch. If you're waiting for the road ahead to be perfectly smooth and easy before you pursue your dreams, you'll never even start. If you're waiting for people to fully understand your unique calling before you begin to walk in it, you'll sadly be stuck in the very same place for the rest of your precious life. A queen does not ask for permission to shine her light brightly. A queen does not apologize for the divine anointing and gifts upon her life. A queen absolutely does not let small-minded, fearful people talk her out of her magnificent destiny. You have been uniquely equipped. You have been divinely called. You have been specifically chosen, and it is high time for you to start acting like it. Embodying that truth in every fiber of your being. You cannot keep sitting idly on your vast potential simply because you're afraid of what some people might say. You cannot keep hiding your incredible gifts and talents because you don't want to make others feel uncomfortable or inadequate. You cannot keep playing small, shrinking yourself because you're afraid of the possibility of failure. Let me tell you something critical about failure. Failure itself is not the ultimate enemy. The real enemy is never even trying in the first place. The real enemy is staying stuck, paralyzed in fear. The real enemy is allowing insidious doubt to rob you of your God-given destiny. Some of you have precious dreams, beautiful visions that you have tragically buried deep within because life got in the way, because challenges arose. You've allowed difficult circumstances and setbacks to cruelly convince you that it's somehow too late now, that you've irrevocably missed your chance, that you're simply not good enough, not smart enough, not qualified enough to pursue them. But let me declare something powerful over you today. What God meticulously placed inside of you, that unique spark, that divine purpose, is still very much there. The gift is still alive within you. The calling still resonates in your soul. The purpose is still waiting to be unleashed. It absolutely does not matter how much time has seemingly passed by. It does not matter how many mistakes you think you've made along the way. It does not matter who walked away from you or didn't believe in you. It does not matter how many times you've fallen down or stumbled. What truly, profoundly matters is that you get back up one more time and start courageously, walking in the divine authority that was given to you from the very beginning. You have absolutely got to stop passively sitting on your sacred anointing. You have got to stop fearfully burying your incredible talent. You have got to stop waiting indefinitely for the elusive, perfect moment to arrive. The perfect moment is right now. The perfect moment is the exact moment you decide to bravely step out in faith, trusting in a power greater than yourself. The perfect moment is when you decisively stop making excuses and courageously start making bold moves towards your destiny. It's time to activate your purpose with unwavering intention. It's time to stop living beneath your high and holy calling. It's time to confidently step into your rightful place, the place prepared specifically for you. And listen, not everyone will be happy about your ascent. Not everyone will celebrate your success. Not everyone will support your journey. But that, my dear Queen, is not your problem to solve. You were not called to be universally liked. You were called to be authentically great. You were not created to just fit in quietly. You were created to courageously stand out. You were not meant to merely sit on the sidelines of life, watching others live their dreams. If you are truly going to walk in your God-given purpose, you have to be willing, completely willing, to leave behind anything and anyone that no longer aligns with where you are boldly going. That inevitably means some relationships will have to come to a natural, albeit sometimes painful end. Some old limiting habits will have to die. Some comfortable, yet stagnant environments will have to change, because you simply cannot soar to new heights while simultaneously holding on to dead weight that drags you down. You cannot possibly step into the next glorious level of your life while desperately clinging to things that keep you bound and restricted. You cannot walk in true power while still entertaining things that systematically weaken your resolve and dilute your focus. A queen knows when it's time to walk away with her head held high. A queen knows when it's time to gracefully let go of what no longer serves her. A queen knows precisely when it's her time to rise. And for you, now is that time. There comes a time when you must cease explaining yourself to people who have clearly already made up their minds about you, often based on their own limited perceptions or biases. You have to stop tirelessly trying to prove your inherent worth to those who stubbornly refuse to see it. You have to stop desperately seeking validation from people who were never meant or equipped to affirm you in the first place. A true queen does not waste her precious time or energy trying to convince people of her undeniable value. Her value is inherent and self-evident. She does not plead or beg for basic respect. She commands it by her very presence and self-assurance. She certainly does not desperately chase after those who chose to walk away from her. She stands firm, grounded, and secure in who she is, knowing with deep conviction that her presence alone, her authentic being, is more than enough. Some of you have been utterly exhausting yourselves, bending over backward, trying to make certain people understand your good heart, your pure intentions. You've been contorting yourself, trying to be enough for people who will likely never truly appreciate your efforts or your essence. You've been offering lengthy, detailed explanations to people who frankly don't even deserve access to the intimate details of your life or your journey. But let me tell you something liberating. You don't owe anybody an explanation for your personal growth, for your evolution. You absolutely don't have to defend the healthy boundaries you wisely set to protect your precious peace of mind. You certainly don't have to explain why you courageously refuse to settle for anything less than what you truly deserve. If someone does not respect your decisions, that is fundamentally their problem, not yours to internalize. If they do not understand your unique calling, your divine assignment, that is not your responsibility to make them understand. If they do not support your journey, your aspirations, that is not your concern to fret over. Some of you have been living under the crushing weight of other people's unrealistic expectations for far too long. You've been carrying heavy burdens that were never meant for you to bear in the first place. You've been unconsciously shrinking yourself, making yourself smaller to try and fit into cramped, restrictive spaces that were never designed to hold your magnificent, expansive spirit. But let me ask you something truly critical. When will you finally start living for yourself, according to your own values and desires? When will you stop allowing the fleeting opinions of others to dictate your life choices? When will you stop desperately seeking approval from people who often don't even have a clear vision for their own lives, let alone yours? A queen does not move according to the ever-shifting winds of public opinion. She does not seek external permission to simply be who she authentically is. She does not water herself down, diluting her essence just to make others feel more comfortable or less threatened. She knows exactly who she is. She stands firmly in her inherent power. She walks confidently in her God-given authority. Some of you have been deeply afraid to decisively walk away from situations, relationships, or environments that no longer serve your highest good, primarily because you don't want to be misunderstood or misjudged. You're afraid of what people will say if you dare to set firm, healthy boundaries. You're afraid of being judged if you choose to prioritize your own well-being and needs. You're afraid of potentially losing relationships if you start demanding the genuine respect that you inherently deserve. But let me tell you a crucial truth. If someone cannot handle your growth, your evolution, your increasing radiance, they were never truly meant to go with you on your journey forward. If they cannot respect your clearly communicated boundaries, they never truly valued you or your well-being in the first place. If they cannot genuinely celebrate your successes, your victories, they were never really for you, cheering you on from a place of authentic support. And the sooner you recognize and accept that difficult truth, the sooner you will find profound and lasting peace. A queen does not entertain foolishness or engage in petty drama. She does not waste her precious breath arguing with people who seem to thrive on negativity and conflict. She certainly does not squander her valuable energy on those who stubbornly refuse to see or acknowledge the truth, even when it's staring them in the face. Some battles are simply not worth fighting. Your peace is more valuable. Some conversations are not worth having. Your energy is better spent elsewhere. Some relationships, unfortunately, are not worth saving, especially if they consistently drain you and bring you down. You have to learn, and it is a skill, how to diligently protect your energy. You have to learn how to courageously walk away from situations that systematically drain your spirit. You have to learn how to fiercely guard your heart against those who only ever come to take from you, but never, ever pour back into your life or uplift your soul. You were not placed on this earth to live your entire life constantly explaining yourself to people who seem committed to misunderstanding you, no matter what you say or do. You were not created to endlessly defend your choices and decisions to people who do not respect your unique journey or your right to live it. You are certainly not designed to keep desperately proving your worth to those who stubbornly refuse to see it. At some point, Queen, you have to stop talking so much and simply let your powerful actions speak for you. You have to stop engaging in pointless arguments and let your serene peace be the definitive answer. You have to stop offering lengthy explanations and just confidently be who you are. Because when you truly know who you are, deep down in your core, you do not feel the compulsive need to convince anyone else of your value. When you are unshakably confident in your divine calling, you do not desperately seek or require external validation. When you walk purposefully in your God-given purpose, you do not chase after fleeting approval. You naturally command genuine respect. Some of you have been walking around carrying completely unnecessary burdens, weighed down by the heavy opinions of others, constantly stressing over things that are ultimately far beyond your control. But let me gently remind you of something absolutely essential. You are not responsible for how other people perceive you. Their perception is their lens. You are not responsible for their unfortunate inability to see your good heart or your pure intentions. You are certainly not responsible for their stubborn refusal to acknowledge your incredible growth and transformation. That is entirely their issue, their limitation, not yours to own or internalize. And the very moment you stop desperately seeking their approval is the precise moment you will finally, truly be free. A queen does not waste her precious time trying to prove herself to doubters or critics. She does not chase after people who chose to walk away from her life. She attainably does not lower herself, her standards, or her values just to be temporarily accepted by any group. She stands firm in her convictions. She walks with undeniable confidence. She moves with inherent grace. And she courageously lets go of anything and anyone that does not align with the magnificent woman she was always created and is continually becoming to be. So please stop explaining yourself endlessly. Stop defending your every move. Stop seeking validation from external sources. You are a queen. It's high time you start acting like one, consistently and unapologetically. You have already spent far too much precious time doubting yourself, relentlessly questioning your inherent worth, and passively waiting for someone else's permission to finally walk in your God-given power. But the time for hesitation, for second-guessing, is definitively over. No more shrinking to fit into small spaces, no more apologizing for your brilliance or your presence. No more desperately seeking validation from people who will likely never truly see or appreciate your immense value. You are a queen, created with divine purpose, designed with incredible strength, and unequivocally called to undeniable greatness. Stand tall and unwavering in your worth. Speak your truth with clarity and authority. Move through this world with powerful intention. Walk into rooms like you absolutely belong there, because you do. Courageously let go of anything and anyone that does not honor the magnificent woman you are right now, and the even more incredible woman you are continuously becoming. A queen does not passively wait for external approval. She actively commands respect by the dignified way she carries herself, by the profound way she loves and honors herself, and by the unwavering way she steadfastly refuses to settle for anything less than God's absolute best for her. This is your moment. This is your time to rise, to courageously take your rightful place, to confidently walk in your divinely ordained power. You are a queen. Now go ahead and start acting like one. Conclusion, remember this always. You are royalty. The journey to embodying your inner queen means recognizing your inherent worth, setting non-negotiable standards for love and respect, and walking with unwavering confidence. It's about protecting your peace fiercely, understanding that you don't need external validation to affirm who you are, and having the courage to walk away from anything or anyone that tries to diminish your light. Stop waiting for permission. Your reign begins the moment you decide it does. Carry your crown with grace and authority. If this call to awaken your inner queen has stirred something within you, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel to watch our next videos. It's time for your power to be seen and felt.